Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into top features of iOS 18. Before we start though, iOS 18 is supported by the iPhone XR and newer. Everyone can install it. However, I don't recommend doing so just yet, since it's the first developer beta. It's not the most stable and can cause crashes, overheating, or issues with certain apps like banking apps. If you still want to install it, make sure to back up your iPhone, because downgrading to iOS 17 will require you to wipe completely your phone. My personal recommendation is to wait for the public beta, which will come out in July. It's going to be much more stable than the current developer beta, and that will be the best time to try the iOS 18 beta version. I've installed the developer beta on my regular iPhone and I've not had any issues with it. Even the banking apps work, which usually don't on betas. However, I've also installed the iPadOS 18 beta 1 on my iPad Pro M1, and some apps don't work, like LumaFusion. For some reason the iPad struggles to run LumaFusion on the beta version of the iPadOS 18, so it's kind of like a coin flip. So I definitely recommend you do a backup before installing iOS 18. So let's start with the first feature of iOS 18, which is customizable lock screen. Finally, you can now change the icons on the lock screen. You no longer need to have the camera and flashlight icons there if you don't want to. For example, instead of a camera, I set the calculator app there, since there's no reason for a camera app to be down there, because you can open it just by swiping right from the lock screen. So instead of having two ways to open the camera app, you can now finally put something more usable in there. If you want to, you can even set a shortcut which will open a certain app. Speaking of customization, we now get to customize the home screen even more. You can now place the apps wherever you want on the home screen. Now you can also change the colors of the apps. Dark mode now integrates with the colors of the apps too. For some reason, dark mode doesn't work with third-party apps, but if you want to change the color of the apps, it will work with any apps, even third-party apps. With that, now we also get a redesigned control center. The control center has a new look with rounded icons instead of square ones. You can change the icons around, resize them, and even shut off your iPhone from the control center if you want to. You could always do that with pressing the volume up, volume down, and turn off button. Now you can do that from the control center. You no longer have to press 3 buttons to just turn your phone off. Also, you can now hide and lock your apps. For example, if you hand your phone to someone else and you don't want them to open certain apps, you can make these apps require Face ID every time you open them, or you could actually hide the apps altogether. If you decide to hide an app, it will completely disappear from your phone. Spotlight won't be able to find it. The system search won't be able to find any data from that app. You will only be able to find the app in the hidden folder in the app library. This is somewhat a cool feature, but let's say you added someone else's face to your Face ID. Now they can also find the hidden apps. In my opinion, it would have been better if you could only set a certain Face ID to open certain apps, but if someone has access to your Face ID, they will find the hidden and the locked apps, so you still can't hide Grindr from your wife. iOS 18 now also has a built-in game mode, which automatically starts whenever you open a game. The game mode will automatically activate and notify you without you having to do anything. Game mode reduces background activity in order to maintain a higher and more stable frame rate per second. To be honest, it's nothing fancy like in the ROG phones, but it's still nice that Apple is thinking about the gaming niche. The only downside I see is that you can't manually activate gaming mode, so iOS decides on its own if it wants to activate gaming mode or not. So you have to rely on iOS recognizing games as games and running them in the game mode. However, I've not had any issues with the game mode not activating, so I'm guessing that all popular titles are supported by default. There's now an app for passwords, which does exactly the same as, let's say, 1Password. This feature was previously introduced a few years ago, but it was hidden in the settings, and now in iOS 18 it's a separate app. Inside the app you can share the passwords, search for certain passwords, and see which passwords have been linked or aren't as secure as you think they are. Not only iMessage gets new features like satellite texting and format editing, The call app gets a new feature too, and now when you type a number, it automatically suggests you the rest of a number based on the context you have saved. Settings now are a bit cleaner overall, they give descriptions and are a bit more organized. The iCloud menu looks a bit more organized too, but if I'm being honest, I'd rather have a bit more free storage than the organized settings. Previously, when you wanted to record a video and the music was playing in the background, iOS would stop the music while you're shooting the video. So for example, if you're sitting in your car, music is playing through CarPlay, and you want to take a video. Previously, you would stop the music for you to take the video, but now in iOS 18, the iPhone doesn't do that anymore. Once you start recording the video, the music in background will still be playing. However, if you don't like that and you want to deactivate this feature, you can do so in the camera settings. The Photos app got some changes too. To be honest, I don't really like how it looks now. It looks much more crowded now with too many options. It feels like it's easy to get lost inside the app. With an iPhone 15 Pro or an M1 iPad Pro or newer, you can now also delete objects from photos, but sadly this doesn't work on most devices. This doesn't even work on the latest iPhone 15. It needs an iPhone 15 Pro at least, and even then it's not even available in the beta version right now. It will only be available in September when iOS 18 officially launches, and this feature as well as Apple Intelligence will only start to be available as a beta, so there's still a long way to go. Here's a bonus feature for you that might be helpful. You can also change the pattern of a flashlight. You can make it wider or narrower. There's also a new feature to send money over to another iPhone, which is called Tap to Cash. Now you can send somebody money with just tapping your iPhones. Reminders are now integrated into the Calendar app for better task management. Apple Maps have also improved. They now have details for hiking. And with AirPods Pro, you can also nod to decline or answer a call. And there you have it. These are the top features of iOS 18, at least for me. Obviously, Apple Intelligence is also a big feature of iOS 18, but it's currently not available, and it won't even be available on most Apple devices. So we'll have to talk about that when the iPhone 16 comes out in September with iOS 18. The features in this video will work on any iPhone that is capable of running iOS 18. What do you think? What is your favorite iOS 18 feature? Let me know down below in the comments. If this video is helpful to you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tech updates. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one.